into Giants Postgame Live, presented to you by Moderna. My name is Madelyn Burke, alongside the Super Bowl champion Shaun, the Super Bowl champion Amani, Toomer. It's Week 10. The Giants went out to Dallas and fell to the Dallas Cowboys with the final score of 49-17. Rookie quarterback Tommy DeVito getting his very first career start, of course, due to the injuries that we've seen. Daniel Jones suffering the torn ACL last week. Tyrod Taylor on IR. So the rookie undrafted quarterback making his NFL debut as a starter in Dallas, Texas, against a team with the #1 pressure rate in the NFL. Shaun, what a tall task is that?
Yeah, not exactly how you'd want to draw it up if you're writing a script as Tommy DeVito. Playing Dallas in Dallas and given the heater that they're on at home, it was certainly a huge challenge. And, look, let's be honest. This was like the JV team going up against the varsity. So Tommy DeVito, obviously, it was a tall task. Also, you're down Evan Neal. Andrew Thomas goes down in the game as well. So you're a little bit handcuffed offensively. A lot of players on defense banged up in this game. And I'll be honest with you, we're sitting here for another straight week just looking at this Giants team saying, give us something. Give us something to talk about. Give us something to grab hold of. And here we are, another week here. And it just, this does not look like professional football. This looks like my son plays football. He's 10 years old. This looks like when the junior team goes against the senior team and you're just like, man, can we just get a first down? Can we get out of here and keep our quarterback alive? At no point was this game competitive at all. And I don't blame Tommy DeVito. I think he did everything he could. He showed some guts and showed some toughness at the end there, threw 2 touchdown passes, led them on that touchdown drive at the end of the game, Madelyn. But at no point were the Giants ever in this game, even in the beginning part of the game. And I think when you look at what's going on offensively, they've got to find a way to get a first down. Not 1 third down conversion in the entire game. 0 for 12. There's no excuse for that. The Giants have to do better.
Well, to your point, though, there was a point early in the game, especially with the Giants' defense, that great goal line stop that they had on Dallas early in the game. The defense really held it for a bit. But again, with the inability to produce on offense, Amani, it's more challenging for the Giants to get something done.
I mean, yeah, when you give 172 yards total offense, and you're 0 for 12 on third down, you're not going to win many games in the NFL. Yeah. Tommy DeVito had it wasn't good. I mean, it wasn't a great start for him. The fact that, there was a lot of pressure, there was all this, that's what it's like in the NFL. Nothing is going to be perfect. You're going to be thrust into these areas where it's not a situation that is winnable, but you have to find a way. The kid fought, fought all the way through the game. That last touchdown was a statement. It was a statement that this team is still fighting with that last touchdown to Shepard. A lot of it has to do with the injuries, but still, man, you had thought that the Giants would find some type of way to be a little bit more competitive than the way they were.
Well, you would have hoped. And Olsen talked about it, in the broadcast. If you're watching the game, if you stuck with the Giants and watched it to the end, what are the realistic expectations? Look, the realistic expectation for Tommy DeVito going there was not to win the game. Mm-hmm. It was to come out alive. It was to survive the game, because the Giants quarterbacks are getting hurt every week. Daniel Jones goes down. He was hurt earlier with the neck injury. Tyrod Taylor's banged up. So they have not been able to protect the quarterback the entire season. So this is not new. And to your point, you're playing the #1 pressure defense in the NFL. What did you think was going to happen? I think that, pretty much what everybody assumed would happen in this game ended up transpiring. Yes, it was a great first defensive stop right there. And for Tommy DeVito, not only are you getting your first start on the road against Dallas, but, your first possession is on the 3-inch line. You literally, you come up here this is how I'm starting this game right now.
But it was all stacked up. The goal for Tommy DeVito is to stay alive. What a low bar. Brian Dable going in there with the last of the Mohican speech. Just stay alive. Yeah. Stay alive.
Yeah, we need you for the next few weeks. Yeah. I think offensively there's a lot of areas that need improvement, but the #1 area, and for everybody out there that's thinking, oh my gosh, Giants need to draft a quarterback, we're now to replace him. No, we need to block people. All right, you want a recipe for disaster offensively? It's constant rotation at offensive line. Andrew Thomas goes down. Justin Pugh's now back at left tackle. Evan Neal, already mentioned, was out. Tyree Phillips in there. The fact that the Giants can't block people week in and week out, this is a blocking issue. This is not a quarterback issue. This is not a, hey, we don't have a good running back issue. Everything starts up front. You look at the best teams in the league right now, they have good offensive linemen, they have healthy offensive linemen.
But they ran the ball pretty well today. They were 111 yards, was not bad. Saquon Barkley had He averaged 5.1 a carry. So, I mean, there were some bright spots about it. I would have loved to see Saquon he had 13 carries. I want to see him with 23 carries. What would it have looked like then? Would he have had 100 yards? Would they have controlled the clock? Would they have controlled the fact that they only have 22 minutes of possession of the ball? When you look at the Cowboys had 37. You got to look at the bright spots, and man, Saquon was a bright spot. He looked like he got a little dinged up, but still, I felt like I just wanted to see more of Saquon. Every time a game like this happens and it gets out of hand, I look to the amount of carries that Saquon has, and if he has under 20, then I'm thinking, man, missed opportunities for the best player on that offense to get more opportunities to have the ball in his hand.
Yeah, Saquon Barkley, 66 yards on 13 carries, though. You mentioned, could he have had 100? The Cowboys haven't given up 100-yard rushing to any player yet this season, nor have they given up 100 yards receiving to a player either. We've got much more to come, but first want to remind you all that guests of our postgame show receive a gift certificate to Ben and Jack's, located on 44th Street in Manhattan. From the celebrated porterhouse to finer seafood, Ben and Jack's will surpass your expectations of what a steakhouse should be. Much more to come here on Giants Postgame Live after the break. We're going to hear from head coach Brian Daboll. That and more. Giants Postgame Live, brought to you by Moderna, continues after this quick break. Time now for the Citizens scoring drive of the game. Today's scoring drive of the game is brought to you by Citizens, the official bank of the New York Football Giants. Citizens is made ready for Giants fans. For the scoring drive of the game, we bring you to the third quarter. 7 plays, 91 yards, 3 minutes and 29 seconds off the clock, capped by a 10-yard touchdown reception by tight end Lawrence Cager, the second career passing touchdown for
great play.
Tommy
I love the design.
DeVito.
Tommy to Larry. You love it.
Yeah, Tommy to Larry. We love to see it. Tommy DeVito, his initials are TD, throwing a TD, making it make sense.
There we go.
It makes sense if you don't think about it. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That is absolutely true. Welcome back to the show. Giants Postgame Live, presented by Moderna. Madelyn, Burke, Shaun, and Amani, Toomer, recapping the tough 49-17 loss in Dallas for these New York Football Giants. When you look at this game, though, it's easy to look at the areas in which this team could have done better. But there are areas in which, especially at this point in the season, when you're falling to 2-8, you're looking for little bright spots on this team. And one of those is, of course, defense and winning the turnover battle once again. 2 interceptions by this New York Giants defense. Amani, when you're looking at the way that the Giants defense puts the offense in a position in that way, how would you explain the value of having that kind of a play?
Well, I just feel like anytime you put points on the board, it really helps, the whole momentum of the team. And, one of the things that have been bad for this team early on has been the red zone efficiency. And for the Giants to be 2 of 4 in the red zone in scoring touchdowns, not just coming away with field goals all the time, there are steps that you have to look at when you're in a situation like this and you're building. You have to look at all the building blocks and use those as foundations and not make those same type of mistakes the next week. So I feel like there are things to be looked upon. They aren't giving up as a team. You can tell by the last play and that last drive when they are still going for touchdowns. They score a touchdown with Shepard. There's a lot of emotion on the sideline. That's good to see, because when you stop seeing that and when you stop seeing people having heated conversations, that's when you really start to get worried. But the fact that they're still arguing means that there are people on that team that care, and that's what you don't want to have happen with 9 games left in the season, or 8 games left, or how many games they have left?
7.
7 games left. So
yeah, it was a nice interception by Cordell Flott early on in the game, and that kind of sparked the offense a little bit. Like, all right, hey, let's go out and get some points off of it. I think when you look at the turnovers, the Giants did not do a very good job last year. So this is kind of going back to even last season. They only had 6 on the entire season. Was one of the least amount of interceptions in the league. And so you love the fact that they're creating those turnovers. The one thing that helps create the turnovers, though, is the quarterback pressures. Not one sack again. So this is 2 weeks in a row now. The Giants' defensive line has not gotten pressure on the quarterback. Obviously, Kayvon Thibodeau left this game with a concussion, so that certainly doesn't help. But to not have a sack the week before, they didn't have not only a sack, but they didn't have any quarterback pressures by the defensive lineman. It was Micah McFadden that had the lone quarterback pressure. So you've got to continue to find a way to get to the quarterback. Look, the Cowboys' offensive line is pretty darn good, so you know that's going to be a challenge. But I think that the secondary, despite the big plays that they gave up, there were some good plays. There were some sprinkled out, some nice breakups, some nice jobs. Like Jason Pinnock had a couple of nice tackles on CeeDee Lamb to stop him short. So there's a lot of things that you're going to go through the film and say, man, we did a really nice job with this. But no Adoree Jackson coming into the game.
Yeah.
Tay Banks ends up going out. He's hurt. They had a couple other guys that got banged up in this game. So shorthanded against the Dallas Cowboys, look, this offense is potent. And it wasn't just CeeDee Lamb who's leading the NFL in receiving yards since week 6. He's been on a heater. It wasn't just him. It was Brandon Cooks who all of a sudden, lights it up for 170 yards. So I think Gallup had it too.
Michael Gallup, yeah.
These are talented receivers.
Yeah.
They're not giving up yards and all these big chunk plays to slouches, but those are things that you're going to have to improve on. And it's certainly, to me, I'm focusing on the pressure on the quarterback. You've got to do a better job of that. Of course, it starts with stopping the run. 2 weeks in a row now, they've given up 100 yards rushing as a team, 125 to the Raiders last week, and over 160 against Dallas.
Yeah, you make a great point with the pressure. I mean, the fact that they gave up 640 yards passing, and then a lot of it had to do with the fact that when you see Dak Prescott in that pocket, he was just sitting there eating sandwiches and distributing the ball down the field. And the fact that they tried to bring blitzes, but they were picked up. And when you blitz, you play man on the back end. And when you have, when you're down, defenders, secondary, going against that talented wide receiver group, you either have to stay back in coverage or go after the quarterback and get pressure. There was no pressure. Dak Prescott looked like it was a get-right game for him with the accuracy and just being able to really distribute for 640 yards passing. That's unbelievable.
And Dak was pulled out of the game in the fourth quarter. He finished the day with 404 yards, 4 passing touchdowns, an interception, and a rushing touchdown as well. That's his 10th career game of 400 or more passing touchdowns in Dallas. All other Dallas Cowboys quarterback combined have 9 games of 400 or more passing yards. So that was a good game for Dak Prescott indeed, as the Giants fall 49-17. We're going to take a quick time out here, but first want to remind you that Giants fans limited tickets are available for the remaining Giants home games at MetLife Stadium. Visit giants.com/tickets to find your game and secure your seat today. After the break, we'll hear from head coach Brian Daboll on more on Giants Postgame Live. Giants fans, subscribe to the Giants Podcast Network for a variety of team podcasts featuring conversations with Giants players, coaches, fans, and legends, plus NFL analysts, business professionals, influencers, and more. Available on Apple, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, and Google. It's the Giants Podcast Network. Welcome back to Giants Postgame Live, brought to you by Moderna. My name is Madelyn Burke. The Giants fell to the Cowboys 49-17. Let's send it down to Dallas, where head coach Brian Daboll is addressing the media.
How we doing, guys? What we got?
What's your general message in there to the guys?
Yeah, look, not the results we wanted. I thought we fought in the second half, but obviously, a lot to work on, a lot to be better at. So give credit to Dallas. They played one heck of a game.
Demoralizing with an outcome like that.
Every loss is demoralizing.
Defensively, you obviously came in with Tommy making his first start, so you would have thought that offensively it was going to be more of a challenge. What was yours? You gave up 640 yards on defense. What was going on there?
Yeah, they did give those guys credit. They did a better job than we did.
Broadcast was pretty keyed in on your sideline at times. There's a few things I want to ask you about. One was they said you were talking to Wink for a long time before halftime and even coming out. What were you guys discussing there?
I don't even know. We talk a lot throughout the game, so probably going into half, kind of some things we wanted to get worked on, things we want to do, but I have conversations with all those guys.
Saquon had an animated discussion with you after the turnover on downs.
No different. Normal stuff during the game.
And the last one, with Slayton and Shepard, that seemed a little different. You saw them getting into it, then you walked all the way down.
Yeah, Slayton and Shepard weren't getting it. They weren't getting into it.
I don't know who was.
Yeah, little stuff during the game. Not a big deal.
What do you make of the perception is going to be that guys are getting frustrated and it's kind of boiling over here. What do you make of that?
Yeah, no, I've talked to all those guys. Not the results we want, but get back to work.
How tough is it going to be to keep it from boiling over to that work? Because if the results continue like this, obviously guys are going to get...
Everybody's pros. Everybody's pros. Obviously not the results we want, not the record we want, but everybody's a pro, and get back to work and do everything we can do to be better.
Brian, is this becoming embarrassing, the way the team is getting blown out in these games?
Yeah, it's no fun to lose, Paul. It's no fun to lose.
What do you make of 89-17 when the two games playing this team, like two big losses to the division rival?
Yeah, big losses. Yep.
What was your assessment of DeVito?
I thought he did some good stuff. Things to work on. That's why we competed all the way to the end and give him as many different situations he can get.
Do you expect to go with him next week?
Yes.
Are there any drastic changes you can make or would make during the season to try and fix the way that some of these games are going?
Yeah, no, we just gotta. We all can do better. Start with me.
Is that so you wouldn't?
Yeah, I'd say we all can do better. All good?
What happened on the first play, the challenge?
Yeah, we didn't get a replay, so we threw the challenge flag because we saw we got clean possession, but then they ended up, not fumbling.
Can you understand though where, from an outside perspective, someone who's not in your locker room, it seems like something's gone wrong? Whether it's the chemistry with the team or something, it just seems like, there was the Xavier McKinney thing last week, now Wink today. I mean, it just feels like something has gone wrong.
Wink today? What do you mean wink today?
Interaction.
There's interaction, Kim, every game. Every game. No different. Standard.
Perception is different, though. I mean, this is the guy who reported it. The TV broadcast has been on hundreds, probably maybe thousands of sidelines before. He thought it was different, so at least it looks different. You get that perception-wise, it could be taken differently.
Sure, but it wasn't. All good? Thanks, guys. No update. Yeah, he came back in.
That sound from head coach Brian Daboll is brought to you by your local Ford stores. Ford is proud to be the official truck of the New York Giants. A brief media session from head coach Brian Daboll after the 49-17 loss to the Dallas Cowboys. We were talking about this earlier in the show, though. Cordell Flott had his first career interception at the end of the first quarter. At that point, the Giants are down 7-0. Yeah. Dallas had scored first. Gets the ball, brings it back to the 12. And so they're 12 yards away from the goal line. They go for it on 4th and 2, don't convert, and end up walking away from that possession without points. And that translates, of course, a little bit of a deluge happens. Dallas goes into the half up 28-0. The Giants had, didn't have points in that opportunity. When you look back at some of those moments throughout the game, Shaun, how do you contextualize how important that one was?
Well, yeah, the interception was huge. When Flott got that pick, it was like, all right, hey, they're down 7-0 on the 12-yard line. Giants go in and score right here, and look, we got life. And I think the defense would have really fed off of that if the Giants offense had been able to punch the ball in. And you mentioned it, they get down there 4th and 2. Look, half the people probably screaming, take the points, kick the field goal. I was okay with going for it on 4th and 2. You're on the road. You've got to score a lot of points to beat the Cowboys the way their offense is playing. I was okay with going for it on 4th down. I didn't love the play call, and neither did Tommy DeVito's dad. I think when you look at that play, 4th and 2, you treat that like one of your end-of-the-game scenarios. Got to have it play. It's a 2-point play. There's got to be different layers and different options for your quarterback. Look, I know Tommy DeVito is a rookie, and I know that he's new to the league, and there's all these excuses, but you have to have plays that are layered. It's a fake handoff. It's a sprint out. It's an option. It's a rollout. It's some sort of play. And look, 4th and 2, you should be able to get that if you count on your offensive lineman. But the offensive line has not done a great job in those 3rd and short, 4th and short situations. So I didn't love the play call in that aspect. But, look, even if you don't get it, the defense still has to go out there and stop them. And the reality is that the defense has given up 79 points in the last 2 weeks. So are they feeding off the offense? Absolutely. Look, everybody talks about, hey, you play this game as a team. When the defense is playing well, the offense, you feel that energy. And when the offense scores and you come off, the defense, they're the first ones over there to congratulate. Hey, great job. Way to go. We got you the ball and you punched it in. That's how you play winning football, and that's how you feed off of each other.
Yeah, I thought it would have been a good idea to come away with points. You have a rookie quarterback. This is his first start. He's playing in Dallas. He has, there's a lot of things going on. I think getting points on the board would have just made it easier and got the game flowing and got the defense a little more excited, because subsequently they didn't get the first down, and the Cowboys drove 90 yards for a touchdown, and it went up in the momentum. It went from would have been 7-3. Now it's 14-0, and you're looking at that goose egg, thinking back to what it was like when they played week 1 when it was 40-0. I thought getting points early would have just kind of got that goose egg that they had in the first game out of their mind. So, it's potato. I mean, it doesn't really matter when it's a blowout the way it was. But I would have thought that putting points on the board might have not have changed much, but it would have at least got the game going a little bit better.
If their Dable's over there thinking, like, all right, I tried to go for the field goal in week 1, and it got blocked and went the other way.
Oh, that's right.
The field goal is not a guarantee. We learned that in week 1, and Andrew Thomas got hurt on that play. That was a disaster. So,
and the end of the Jets game, the field goal as well.
You're going to get second-guessed when things don't work out, and he's done both ways, and neither one of them worked out. So
But it's also, too, it's like you said, there could be, the points on the board at that point being 7-3, or going for it, showing, hey, I believe in you. I trust my players to execute. There's balance, and there's positives for both sides. Potato, tomato, right? All right, we're going to take
I think it's potato.
Who says potato?
I don't know.
Tomato. I say potato sometimes.
Potato, tomato.
It's definitely not potato, tomato.
It's not potato, tomato.
Tomato, tomato.
Yes.
Who says
tomato, timeout time. We're going to take a quick timeout. Mason Bills here on Giants Postgame Live. But Giants fans, check out the Coach Dable Show presented by Ford. We'll look back on today's game and take a look ahead at next week's matchup. It's the Coach Dable Show, airing every week on MSG and the Giants YouTube channel. Much more to come here on Giants Postgame Live, brought to you by Moderna. Stick around. We'll be back with more after this. Welcome back to Giants Postgame Live, brought to you by Moderna. The Giants fell to the Cowboys 49-17 in Dallas. A tough one on the road against an NFC East opponent. Welcome back to the show. Giants Postgame Live. Madelyn, Burke, Shaun O'Hara, and Amani Toomer after a tough loss in Dallas. 49-17, we talked about this a little bit. So many areas to unpack this, talking about some of the tension on the sideline, all that kind of stuff. But it is good to have, teammates inspiring you to do your best and to do better while you're facing adversity, correct?
Yeah, sometimes you don't want to hear it, and you chirp back and forth, but you know that it's all coming from a good place. I mean, when you look at the scoreboard, it's very demoralizing, but if you have guys still holding you accountable, still trying, that's a good sign. I mean, that's a sign that people still care, and I know that may not look at it. I've been in these situations a lot of time. I've been on a lot of bad teams that weren't competitive, and you go into the games just trying to survive, and you look around and you just want people fighting. And that's what it looks like when people are still fighting, when they're on the sideline going at each other. So, it may look a certain way, but when I see it through an eye of somebody who's been on the field in those types of situations, it's not a bad thing.
Yeah, there's still some life. And you want to see that. You want to see that passion, that fire. This team, they continue to play. And I know everybody's going to try to crack a hole in the team. And, they tried to pepper Dable with some stuff, like, is this team fragmented? I don't get that feeling. I don't know. I don't want to speak for anybody else. But when I watch this team play, I don't get the feeling that they're blaming each other, pointing fingers. Like, they want to win. They're playing hard, and they're pushing. They're in a rut right now, and it sucks. This is tough to play football. It's tough to show up. It's such a physically demanding game. It's tough to go out there and sell out. But I feel like the guys that are out there are still doing that.
And it's tough to play the Dallas Cowboys, especially if it's your very first NFL start in the as a quarterback. And so for more on that, let's send it down to Dallas. Tommy DeVito is speaking at the podium.
Tommy, how do you describe the emotions after a game today? I mean, obviously you went in here, I would imagine, pretty confident in what you guys were able to do. When you walk off that field, how do you describe what you were feeling?
It's tough. You put a lot into the week, a lot into the preparation, practices, meetings, time with your teammates, and obviously it's not the outcome we want, but something's got to change. We just got to be better.
difficult is it when your first drive starts at the 1, your second drive starts at the 6, and you just really have no chance to get anything going?
Yeah, I won't feel sorry for myself. I mean, you get put in any situation, your job is to get out of it. We just got to get more first downs.
For everything that you thought what this was going to be like today, once you get out there and the bullets start flying, what are you thinking out there? Did you almost feel like you were just going to get into a groove, that it was only a matter of time?
Yeah. Once we just got a couple first downs on offense, once we got going early on, didn't go so hot. I think in the second half we started to click a little bit, but at that point it was too late. I thought we battled well in the second half, but like I said, we got to come out better in the first quarter, get more first downs, get the ball moving, help our defense out.
Who was helpful to you on the sideline?
Everybody. I mean, everybody was there from throughout the whole week of practice and the meetings and just being there for me, but I mean, I just rely on the quarterbacks really. Tyrod, Shay, Matt, I mean, just all the guys just seeing what they see, if they see something else, and just going on the iPad, checking everything, and just talking through it.
It's a really good Dallas defense, obviously. How did you try to either calm teammates in the huddle or assure them that you'd be making plays and get back into it in the huddle?
Yeah, we were just hurting ourselves at that point. I don't think they necessarily did so many things that were stopping us rather than us stopping ourselves, especially early on. I think that could have helped us get more first downs, and I mean, I'm at the front of that, making sure that everybody's dialed in, locked in, ready to go, and just executing the offense. That's my job, so I need to be better with that.
How different was it? Last week you just got to kind of go in, and it was time, middle of the game, you have to go in, and then having a whole week. So how different did the feeling was it this week?
It was very different as far as practice-wise, just because I got to, throw and have some kind of rapport with the receivers. Obviously, that didn't come to full flourish today, but it's something that was started last week and grew throughout the week and is going to continue to grow based off of watching this film and getting better from it.
Coach said right away when he asked if you were next week, he said yes. So, I mean, is that confidence, knowing that you're going to get another opportunity?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm going to do the same thing. If not, I mean, obviously more because doing the same thing over and over, I said that already last week, but got to do more, got to watch it, got to grow from it, really emphasize on everything bad that was done, whether it was me, the offense, energy, whatever it was, it needs to be fixed, and we're going to attack that full-fledged this week.
How important was that last drive?
That's Giants quarterback Tommy DeVito finishing the day 14 for 27, 86 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, passer rating of 67.8. But when you look at what Tommy DeVito was able to do on the field, being a starting quarterback is more than just that, Shaun.
Yeah, I mean, he showed some big stones with the way that he played, the way he continued to stand in that pocket, even when it was collapsing around him. And, look, I think everybody looks at quarterbacks in the NFL, and people will say they're overpaid and all this stuff. Look, there's 2 jobs as a quarterback in the NFL. You've got to go out there and play, and then after the game, you've got to stand at the podium right there and take strays, and you got to take it full on. Anybody that watched Tommy DeVito just now and heard him talk about, hey, we're going to go back to the film, we're going to attack it, and we're going to make sure that we're better at the things we weren't good at today. Look, you've got to love the Jersey toughness. There were times where this kid looked like he was running the wrong way on the New Jersey Turnpike, dodging traffic. That was the pocket that he was dealt with. Yeah. And look, he didn't flinch. And you know what? He got banged up. There was a couple times they showed him. He's holding his arm, and he's not coming out. Tommy DeVito was not going to tap out of this game. And I think you have to love that toughness. A Jersey kid, you expect nothing less from a Jersey boy.
Don Bosco's very young.
I love the way that he's attacking this, and he's still got the moxie, even though they just got destroyed, by the Dallas Cowboys, and he's still up there saying, look, I'm willing to take this on, and I'm all in. And I think as a player, that's an easy guy to get behind and to play with.
Yeah, because most of the quarterbacks aren't that tough mentally, and most of the times they're the ones that go into the tank most often. And the fact that he's still mentally into it, he's right after the game where he struggled at times, to be kind, and he's still thinking about moving forward, not licking his wounds, not talking about how everybody else should have helped me out more. He said, everybody helped me. We're moving forward. I'm trying to do the best I can. I'm going to fix all the problems, and trying to come up with solutions as opposed to looking at everybody else and looking at the situation he's in. Focusing on moving forward is what this Giants team needs to do after you get beat as bad as you did today. But if you approach it that way, the best quarterback I ever played with, wasn't the most athletic, and Eli Manning, his mind was always on to the next, and that's what makes quarterbacks great. So I think that, not saying that Tommy DeVito is going to be great, but I'm just saying that is the type of attitude that you have to have, because you are going to struggle in the NFL, and you got to be able to move forward.
Some bad hits. I thought you were going Jesse Palmer there with the best quarterback you ever played with. I thought you were going to give him a shout out. Love you, JP. But I love that Tommy DeVito. He's got a little Bobby Boucher in him. You know, like his mom still makes his bed.
He doesn't
do his own laundry. But
he doesn't have to deal with wrestling
I play with Tommy DeVito.
So you know what? He doesn't have to fold a fitted sheet, so he can spend more time breaking down defenses. Shout out to Mama DeVito for making his bed. Much more to come here on Giants Postgame Live, brought to you by Moderna. Stay up to date with the latest COVID-19 vaccines, because you've got no time for 19. Giants Postgame Live, brought to you by Moderna. We'll be back with more after this.
I just think our defense makes a huge stop early. We have momentum on our side, and I really pointed those first couple plays, and when we're backed up, we got to get the ball out. And that starts up front. Like, we didn't do a good job. We were on edge on stuff, and it just didn't put us in a good situation. So, like, we got to look at ourselves in the mirror and fix those plays. And our defense gets another stop, and we have a turnover, and we got a chance to go get 7 points. We got to convert that. And, you know, it looks like it got out of hand, but there's a few plays here, a few plays there. We can make that game more competitive. But at the end of the day, they kicked our ass. And we got to go look at ourselves in the mirror. Guys got to continue to fight, do the little things. This is a business. People got jobs in the line.
That was Giants offensive lineman Justin Pugh, straight off the couch to the offensive line. Keeping it real indeed. You know, starting at left guard, he moved over to left tackle for a little bit when Andrew Thomas went out with that knee injury. AT, of course, came back in the game, but he's really been a spark plug for this O-line group, Shaun.
Yeah, he has. Justin, I mean, look, at no point is it easy to go from guard to left tackle, and, oh, by the way, it's 3rd and 7, and that's Micah Parsons over there, and you're on the silent count. So, you know, I'm sure he got a couple of reps in at left tackle, and, of course, he played at left tackle earlier this season, but you know, he's been a bright spot for this team, not just in his play, but in his leadership. And you need guys like that. You need glue guys, especially when things like this are going sideways on you as a team. And you need guys like Justin Pugh, who's kind of rallying the troops. I know he's done a great job, you know, having O-line dinners and getting guys together, because it's really easy when you're losing games and the season's kind of getting away from you to just kind of fragment and say, all right, you know what, I'm just going to show up to work and just go home. The fact that they're still finding ways to hang out and spend time together, I think that's big. It means a lot, and it goes a long way, and Justin Pugh should be credited for that.
Yeah, it's culture, right? The culture of the team, and you know, you have to have guys that have been through these types of situations, so that, you know, they know how to act, you know how to be a pro and go, you know, be disappointed, but still go about your business as a pro, paying attention to detail, watching the extra film, getting prepared for every game as if you're going to win, as if you're going to compete, even though these last couple weeks it hasn't been that way. But you need guys like that to let these younger players and let everybody know what being a Giant is all about and what being a pro is all about. So I think Justin Pugh is a great addition to this team, and there needed to be more guys like him that can play, but also are guys that are going to help the overall culture of this organization.
If you don't know much about Justin Pugh, all you had to do was watch that game. And when Tommy DeVito took that shot at the end of the game, Justin Pugh was the one that went over and shoved the guy on the ground. You know, he had to take one for the team and got
15 yards.
Yeah, he got kicked where it hurts, but that's the kind of guy that you want playing for you. Someone's going to stick up for your quarterback no matter where and when.
And let everybody know that's what you have to do in these types of situations.
Step up.
Absolutely, absolutely. Speaking about stepping up as well, you know, we mentioned Andrew Thomas. He went out for a bit with that knee injury. He was able to come back, toughed it out, and finish the game. He's now speaking to the media in the locker room as well. Let's send it down.
Yeah, I just got rolled up, and the trainers just wanted to make sure it was nothing too bad, so I had to go in and do the procedure to get the x-rays and stuff like that, and it felt good enough to come back, so I did.
Was your knee or your ankle? It looked like the ankle.
Did you initially think it was?
Yeah, anytime you get rolled up, it's a worrisome kind of feeling, kind of hopeless feeling, but like I said, it felt good after they took a look at it and went back in.
How did it feel the rest of the game?
Just normal. Yeah.
Was it your MCL?
I'm not sure exactly.
Just the way this game went, how difficult to be on the side of another game like this?
It's tough. Can't make excuses. Just gotta find a way to get better.
You guys are reaching their breaking point with the frustration?
Say it again.
Are guys reaching their breaking point with the frustration, you think?
I don't think so. I mean, it's frustrating when you have, consecutive losses and whatnot, but we have a tough-knit group of guys, and we got to find a way to stick together, because it's easy, to point fingers and fall apart. That's not the way you build a winning culture, so we just got to continue to do the things that we need to get better.
You guys knew early in the game to take some of the heat off Tommy in his first start. You needed to run the ball.
Yeah.
What was going on? Saquon had, I think, 1 yard on 7 carries. What was going on?
Yeah, credit to them. They came out with a good plan. They ran a lot of 5-man front. They moved the front a lot more, and we just didn't adjust to it well. We got to do a better job of, picking up those twists and movements so Saquon can get going.
You get a sense that they were geared up to say, they're going to run the ball early. They didn't really seem to respect a lot of other things than Saquon early in the game.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, everybody's seen the film. We've been struggling, so they know that we're going to be, a run-first type of team. So we just got to do better of taking advantage of the opportunities we have.
Your first presidential coin toss misfire?
It was, definitely.
You met him a little quickly?
No, quickly, yeah.
Giants fans, subscribe to Giants text alerts for breaking news, ticket offers, game day updates, and more. Just scan the QR code on your screen or text 201-636-1569 to subscribe. Giants text alerts. We'll be back with more on Giants Postgame Live, brought to you by Moderna after this.
Saquon, is this as bad as it has gotten for this team, do you think, since you've been here?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to go out and say that. It's definitely tough right now. Losing like that, getting embarrassed week after week. But got to be a man about it. Obviously, you can be in your feelings for only a short time, but you got to get ready for next week. That's NFL.
What happened on the sideline in the first half where you and DAL had an animated kind of conversation? What was that about, and what were your emotions in the moment?
I don't know. I didn't see it. I'm not able to watch the game. I was aware that there was an animated conversation, but I don't think it was that. I mean, we didn't get the conversion on the 4th and 3, and I think was I frustrated that we didn't get it? Yes. So maybe that was a sign of frustration, but it was no argument, nothing like that. That happens. It's football.
It's obvious early that you guys needed to run the ball to kind of take it some off Tommy, and there was just nothing there. What did you see those first 7 carries? I think you had 1 yard. Looked like they were very much geared up to know you were getting the ball.
Yeah, I mean, what do you expect? That's kind of where every team mindset kind of going to be. We got to do a better job. I got to do a better job first. To take the load off for Tommy and make it easier for him. They came out. They had a great game plan. You could tell from the first 2 snaps what kind of day it was going to be. But obviously, I feel like we made adjustments in the second half and we were able to get it going, but it was just a little too late.
Those Giants running back Saquon Barkley finishing the day with 66 yards on 13 carries, averaging 5.1 a carry with a 21-yard long. Saquon Barkley, of course, speaking to the media. Let's send it back to the locker room where his teammate Sterling Shepard is also standing by.
What gives you hope that it won't continue in this direction?
Just the group of guys that we have. Like I said, these are my brothers, and we all know each other so well, and that's what gives me confidence, is just how well we know each other, and we'll stick together through this whole thing.
How much do all these lopsided scores start to hurt?
Of course they hurt. We're all competitors, and we want to win games. We just gotta figure out what it is and figure out what we need to correct, and really get in there and correct it.
What in particular were you saying to him to motivate him?
Just telling them to fight through it. You know what I mean? I know it's tough. I've been here, 8 years. So I've been through a lot, and just telling them I feel your pain. I know that, but go out there and keep on fighting, keep on going.
That's Giants wide receiver Sterling Shepard. Giants fans, check out the Eli Manning Show, presented by Panini Prism Trading Cards. All you have to do is subscribe to the Giants YouTube channel to catch all of the new episodes. It's the Eli Manning Show. subscribe today. Stay with us. We've got much more to come here on Giants Postgame Live, presented by Moderna. We'll be back with more after this. Welcome back to Giants Postgame Live, brought to you by Moderna. As we turn the page from a Week 10 loss in Dallas, we look ahead to a Week 11 Giants-Commanders game in Washington, Sunday, November 19th at 1 p.m. The Giants will head to Washington to face the Commanders. This will be the third road game in a row for these New York Football Giants. As Washington, of course, returning from Seattle. They're coming back from a road trip. They lost a close one, Shaun, to the Seahawks this afternoon.
Yeah, they rallied back a number of times to tie the game. Of course, Ron Rivera elected to not go for two on the road, so I know they're going to be second-guessing that the entire way home. But Sam Howell, coming into this week, he was second in the league behind just Tua Tagovailoa for passing yards in the league. So this Washington offense, they can get vertical, they can cover a lot of ground, and they can score a lot of points. So obviously the Giants want to keep up with that. Luckily for the Giants, this defense has been giving up all kinds of yards for the Commanders, and I think when you look at the fact that they just traded Montez Sweat and Chase Young, that certainly helps out with trying to slow down some of that pass rush. But for the Giants, they've got to stay on the field, convert some first downs, and establish the run game. Obviously, protection is huge, but as we talked about defensively, the Giants have struggled to get to the quarterback. Sam Howell's been one of the most sacked and most harassed quarterbacks in the league this year, so this could actually be perfect timing for this Giants defense.
Yeah, I think the pass rush for the Giants really has to come through next week. I think Kayvon Thibodeau and company really need to put pressure on Sam Howell, because one thing we do know about Sam Howell, he does put up a lot of big numbers, but the one thing that he does is he's a little generous with the ball sometimes and putting it in dangerous way. And last time the Giants played, came up with a couple of interceptions that ended up helping the Giants win, one of the only wins that they have this year. But I think the matchup is good in terms of what this Giants team is good at, opposed to going against the Washington Commanders team. So I'm excited about next week's game with much more of an opportunity, just because of the matchup and the success that the Giants have had over the last 2 years, really, against this Commander team.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned this. They just played each other in Week 7. Of course, the final score 14-7 in favor of the Giants, and they were able to get that pressure on Sam Howell, that pressure on the quarterback, which is something that the Giants have been able to translate to some success, defensive success turning into some offensive production.
Yeah, Dexter Lawrence had a huge game against Nick Gates. Obviously, he knows him really well, so you're looking forward to Dexter having a big game, stepping up. Ojulari showed up a little bit in this Dallas game, so it's nice to have him back on the edge as well. Hopefully, he can provide some spark plays and maybe create those turnovers again.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think the defense is some players that are really highlighting what they're. I think the linebacking core is playing very well. So I think that there's a lot of things that in this matchup I think are going to do well.
Absolutely, and we'll be back here as we always are with more Giants post-game live after that game, after every game this season. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. For Amani, Toomer, and Shaun O'Hara, my name is Madelyn Burke. We'll see you next week. Thanks for stopping by.